Hi, it's the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your August 2017 general readings. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Welcome to any newcomers who are here with us for the first time. Yes, my background and environment has changed. Ever the Gypsy, I am off and running again. I am bouncing around Europe for a few months, Eastern Europe at present time. I am currently in beautiful, beautiful Poland right now. So thank you for joining me here in Poland today. Thank you as well, always, for your support, feedback, likes, shares, your wonderful encouragement, and all of your comments. And thank you to those of you who always continue to reach out for personal one-on-one readings and my regular clients as well. Thank you so very much for allowing me to be such a regular part of your lives. And if any of you are interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me and you haven't read with me before, you can click on the About or description button on my YouTube channel's homepage for more information, and my email address, which is Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I would be delighted to work with you. Even though I'm traveling, as those of you who have been following me for a while know, I still pretty much keep to my same schedule. I continue to post general videos, continue to do personal one-on-one readings, and work with my clients as well. So if any of you are interested, send me an email. We'll go from there. I do readings full-time, 5 to 6 days a week. It is what I do. So turnaround time for personal readings, live or recorded, is usually pretty quickly. I can usually respond with information within the first day of your contact and set up a reading any time within a few days, upwards of 2 weeks, but almost always within a 2-week period of time we can schedule a reading for you. I do love romance readings. I do compatibility charting, career work and finance, channeled messages, year overviews. I also do, packages of 3, 6, 9, or 12 months as well, and gift readings too. So email me. We'll set something up for you. Make sure to check your rising and your moon sign videos if you know them and if you can, because these are general readings. As we always say, there's thousands of you watching, and so of course they're not going to mean the same thing to the same degree and intensity for everyone watching. So if you can, watch the others. One of them may resonate a little more predictively for you than your sun sign, and watching all three just gives you additional insight into different areas of your life that the reading covers as well. Being the beginning of the month generals, I will be pulling the customary 2 cards per week with an additional 9th card from the bottom of the deck for overall guidance and energy. This reading is for the earth sign of Taurus, Taurus the bull. We begin with the King of Wands, followed by the 7 of Wands, the 9 of Wands, followed by the 7 of Cups, the 5 of Wands, followed by the 9 of Pentacles, and the 3 of Cups, followed by the 6 of Cups. And from the bottom of the deck, your overall energy and guidance is 2 cards that have popped out, the 8 of Wands and the Lovers. I feel like they're both meant to be there, so we'll keep them both there. I'm getting, and I got it like almost right from the very beginning. For some of you, perhaps even a lot of you, a sense of a power struggle between you and someone else. Could be you in a situation that you feel controlled by, a person or a situation you feel controlled by. A struggle for independence I'm getting as well, which is interesting. And this could be within a relationship, and that relationship could vary because there's so many of you watching this. It could be a romantic relationship, it could be a very close kinetic friendship, it could be some kind of family relationship, siblings, it could be a relationship with you and a parent or parent figure or a boss. But I do feel a sense of power and control, power struggle, and a struggle for independence, a fight for independence, a search for independence. Interesting. Which you are well up to the task, Taurus, being that lovely, determined, rooted, sometimes stubborn earth sign that you are. So let's begin. We find ourselves at the beginning of August 2017. I am recording these at the very end of July, with the King of Wands, followed by the 7 of Wands. Let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 wands, 5, including that second overall energy card. Wands is fire energy. That's the element which governs the suit of wands. It's fiery, dynamic, action-oriented, forward-moving, fluid energy. It's all about change, movement, action, power, creating, building, manifesting. It can manifest sometimes in career, creative, or artistic endeavors. Anything that's about forward-moving and building, creating, dreaming, manifesting things. Powerful energy. Sometimes very fast-moving too. The fastest moving of all the elements because it's fire. So the King of Wands, kings and queens represent individuals who've reached the mastery of their suit. They've matured beyond the immature page level, which we all kind of start off as, you know, the dreamers, the conceivers of the ideas. We don't have the experience and wisdom as pages to kind of follow through or flesh it out. Then there's the knights, and they're still pretty spontaneous and impulsive, but they've matured and evolved a little beyond the page energy, and they begin to take those ideas and dreams and flesh them out and begin to manifest them into reality. And then the queens come along, they've reached the master of their suit. They're the sustainers and nurturers. They kind of feed the thing that they feed what the knights have begun to manifest. They sustain it, they flesh it out. And then the kings come in and they tighten up all the loose ends, protect, guard, defend. So queens and kings represent individuals who've reached the master of their suit. So at the top of their game of the characteristics of their particular suit. So this is the King of Wands, wands being fire energy, creative, manifesting, energetic energy. This is a creative, manifesting, energetic individual, dynamic, probably good looking, very good at problem solving, very good at getting the job done, very good at inspiring and delegating other people to get the job done as well. Not one to rest on their laurels for very long. They've matured and evolved beyond the really spontaneous and impulsive energy, but they can still kind of, you know, get into that. They're problem solvers. They want to get it done and they want to figure it out and move on. Very charismatic, dynamic individuals. You know, on a negative aspect, you know, the negative traits which we all possess, they can be perhaps controlling, domineering, aggressive, too assertive, too forceful, bossy, maybe sometimes having some emotional or anger issues as well. Now, it's paired with the, so this is someone who's showing up at the end of July, beginning of August, or through the month of August, as someone significant, playing a major factoring role or influence in your life, Taurus. This could be a male or a female, as it's a general reading. It could be a male aspect of a female in your life, or a female aspect of a male in your life, or someone just who strongly manifests the character traits of the King of Wands. Paired with the Seven of Wands, this is primarily a defensive card. This is about it can be about being defensive, perhaps in a somewhat negative way, being too defensive, too closed off, guarded, protective, and needing to, you know, open up and loosen up a bit or compromise and negotiate. It can also represent being defensive in a positive way, standing up for yourself, standing up for someone else, standing up for defending, protecting, guarding something you feel very strongly about because of either how strongly you believe in it as a fundamental belief system, or something that you've invested so much of yourself in that you feel a sense of ownership in it, and you feel it's being threatened or challenged somehow. So you're defending, standing, protecting that, defending, standing up for yourself, for somebody else, for a belief system, for a way of life, an idea even, or an actual, you know, property or job or something like that. Again, how it manifests is going to be different depending on which Taurus you are. I do feel there is a sense of power and control struggle, power struggles, and a sense of fighting, fighting for a sense of independence or freedom from a relationship, a job, a situation, a romantic partner, a friendship, family dynamics, parents, something of that sort. Again, as I always say, the specifics are going to vary, but the energy fundamentally remains the same. And I feel like for a lot of you, it's this King of Wands individual, or the King of Wands represents the individual or the situation, perhaps job, boss, something. There's this defensiveness with, conflict with, I feel like it's a sense of power and control. You're perhaps wanting more freedom of movement, more fluidity, more control, more independence, self-sufficiency, self-empowerment. And there's a sense of struggle, whether it's with this actual specific individual in whatever type of relationship, or energetically it represents a certain situation, project, something that you feel kind of chained to or dependent on or controlled by. Now, next to that, for some of you, this could represent a fire sign individual, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising, or someone who strongly manifests those traits. Some of you, this could be an individual for whom you're standing up for, although I'm not really feeling that, number one, because the King of Wands would, except perhaps on his worst day, need someone to stand up for him, unless it was a child and he's showing up as a king. So I feel like they're more in that dominant position of the conflict or struggle is with them, or what they represent in terms of a situation. I'm getting boss for some of you as well. So next to that, we have the Nine of Wands, followed by the Seven of Cups. So more fire energy. The Nine of Wands tends to represent the end of a cycle, being at the end of a journey, something cycling to a close, a culmination of something. So a 9 represents being almost at the end of a cycle of something. This man is a soldier. He's fought a lot of battles, walked a long road. He's tired, worn out, weary, exhausted, maybe wounded, but he's still going. He's almost done. He's almost at the end of his journey, his battle. The Nine of Wands represents an unexpected or relatively unexpected obstacle, challenge, last minute struggle, 11th hour issue coming up, as represented by the cluster of 8 wands behind him. And he's withdrawn a little ways, holding on to this last one for support. Not a retreat or anything. It's about taking a step back to kind of figure this out. Why is this coming up? How can I get through this, around this, over this, under this? How can I figure this out? Taking a step back to get a perspective, trying to figure it out. How can I deal with this that's come up? I didn't think I was going to deal with this, or felt like I was almost done with something, or almost at a point of reaching a goal for something, and all of a sudden this has come up. And I believe it's part of this kind of struggle for independence, struggle for freedom, perhaps even separation, or not really understanding why it's there and wondering, how do I figure out to do this? Do I have to separate myself? Is there a way to compromise, negotiate? Just trying to figure it out, taking a step back, considering a lot of different possibilities and options, maybe not all of them reality-based, but thinking about everything that, you could do. I think I'm forgetting that some of you for whom this is a really close personal relationship, perhaps even a romantic relationship where the other person, and it could even be you, the one that's kind of clingy, obsessive, domineering, controlling, too much power and control, the independence of the other person, or your independence, or search for independence, or struggle for independence makes the other person fearful or insecure. There is this sense of wanting to do, for some of you, you're considering a bunch of stuff, maybe not everything completely reality-based or realistic, because you don't want to have to think, okay, in order to make the situation better, or remove myself from the situation, or have the independence or freedom that I want or need, or the other person, we're just going to have to call it done. Maybe kind of even not being all that, because it's that Nine of Wands is accompanied by the Seven of Cups, which is a card that can represent multiple options. It can also represent fantasy, illusion, distraction, daydreaming, being scattered, not being focused and intentional, considering a lot of beautiful possibilities and potentials, but they're not all reality grounded or practical or really able to be achieved. So again, it's about, when you're trying to figure this out, considering a lot of different things, some of which are not going to work, but trying to figure it out nonetheless. So the next we move into the Five of Wands, followed by the Nine of Pentacles. And this isn't a bad reading. Don't get the idea that it's a bad reading, even though it's, sometimes I read comments about, oh, it's not as bright and positive as it is. What it is. This is what's coming through. It looks like there's some kind of struggle to be independent, self-sufficient, empowered, freedom, regardless of the form that it takes in whatever area of your life that it takes in. And it's happening because it's meant to happen, because you need this. You feel compelled for this because you need this. Or perhaps you're in a relationship with someone who's struggling for this because they feel they need it. And so there's this conflict while the two of you are trying to figure it out, or you're trying to figure it out with this other situation or job or boss or whatever. And this is meant to be, and it's all part of learning and growing and evolving too, which is the positive aspect of this process, and also to show us how important the thing that we're fighting for or fighting against actually is. So next to that, we have the Five of Wands and the Nine of Pentacles. So the Five of Wands represents conflict, external conflict, and internal conflict sometimes as well. Not huge, serious, out for blood kind of conflict. They're not out to kill each other. They're sparring. These are practice weapons. But it can represent a conflict in terms of petty squabbling, the same old argument going around and around and around. Nobody winning, nobody losing, but no solution being reached either. Just kind of the same thing, around and around and around. That can also be an internal process as well. So just kind of around the middle, third week of August or so, this conflict going around and around. Again, I feel like it's about wanting more freedom, freedom of movement, independence, self-sufficiency, self-empowerment in some kind of relationship, whether it's personal, romantic, friendship, family, parental, job, career related, something. Because that Five of Wands is paired with the Nine of Pentacles, this is all about independence, self-sufficiency, self-empowerment, particularly in a physical, tangible way. Because Pentacles, the suit of Pentacles is earth energy. And in the tarot, Pentacles often manifests itself in earthly ways in the tangible, concrete, day-to-day world we live in, things we can see and touch and feel, like money, finances, property, real estate, job, resources, house, etc. Tangible things are tangible results of the efforts we put into things. The Nine of Pentacles, again, another 9 being close to the end. The 10 would be a tremendous amount of success, abundance, prosperity, long-lasting roots, the accumulation. We're close to that. We're at the 9 of Pentacles. This is sometimes nicknamed the happy, single, successful female card, female or male, it doesn't matter. And it's not really clear whether she's single or not, she or he is single or not. It doesn't really matter. She or he is at the same place in her life. She's worked long and hard for where she's at, and she's surrounded by all of these things she's worked very hard to build up: success, prosperity, abundance, a sense of self-empowerment, self-sufficiency, independence. Whether she's single or not, she loves herself, her life, where she's going. If she is, as she isn't, she doesn't feel compelled to have someone in her life. If she does, she'll take her time choosing because she doesn't feel like it's a need. So independence, self-sufficiency, self-empowerment, abundance, and prosperity too, both tangible and intangible as well. Just being in a really great place in life. So there's this conflict. I feel this push and pull, push and pull. I want to feel more independent, more free, have the freedom to make my own mistakes, to build up my own life. Whether it's in a personal relationship, a not so personal relationship, a job, a situation, etc. It's going to manifest differently because there's so many of you watching. Now, at or towards the end of the month, it looks like for some of you, this is going to be straight up childhood friends or friends you've had for a long time who, for some reason, spending time with you find very helpful. And they may even help you find some answers or give you some good advice because we have, or you may be thinking about that. Or this could be spirit actually telling you, spend some time with your really close friends, friends you've known for a while, friends you really get, friends you connect with, childhood friends even, maybe even travel to see some of them. Maybe some of this conflict is about taking a trip on your own to visit old friends or taking a trip with old friends or childhood friends, and you don't want your partner or somebody else with you, and there's a power and control struggle with that. It could be that as well. We have the Three of Cups, high social theme here. This is about spending time with people, having a good time with people whose company you really enjoy, that you feel very closely connected to. I always think of that old TV series Sex and the City, Carrie and her girlfriends. It's that close kinetic, your closest social network that you really kind of rely on and depend on, and vice versa, that you don't have to pretend with. The Three of Cups is paired with the Six of Cups. This is a card typically associated with the past, reminiscence, nostalgia, childhood, or long history, looking back, perhaps looking back through rose-colored glasses for a time that you felt more carefree and childlike, where you didn't have the worries and concerns you did today. It can represent travel back to the past, like as in travel back to see parents, relatives, roots of origin, where you grew up, family, etc. Thinking about the past. With the Three of Cups, there's of course a very clear connection to childhood friends or long-term friends. Could be very helpful for you in kind of figuring this out. Some of you may be taking a trip to see them or with them. Again, that could be some of the source of the conflict. And it might be helpful for you to do that because it might give you some distance, some perspective. They may be able to give you advice and feedback as well. Now, your overall guidance and advice, 2 cards popped out. We have the Eight of Wands, which is a card of communication, swift, powerful communication, going back and forth a lot during the month of August. It can also represent waiting for communication that's on its way. Typically it represents fairly positive communication. And the Lovers popped out with it, which is a card that represents a very close, kinetic, passionate, sometimes soulmate relationship. Doesn't necessarily have to be romantic, and even then it doesn't necessarily have to be long-lasting or lifelong. Soulmates, karmic connections are there because you and the other person have something to do together, which involves your growth, evolution, maturity as a human being, which is why we're here. Sometimes when that's done, we part ways. Sometimes we don't. It really just depends. Divine timing and orchestration. It also represents making a decision that's going to significantly affect a significant relationship, if not the primary relationship in your life. In the early tarot decks, this was not even called the Lovers, it was called the Choice. It showed a man standing in front of two women. The implication being a major decision was going to have to be made, and that decision was probably going to affect a primary relationship or the lives of a few people, close to each other. Significant decision needed to be made, a lot of communication around it. Again, it's the theme of power and control, struggle for more freedom, independence, and whatever form that takes in the sectors of your life, Taurus, it really, it's going to vary. So it'll be interesting to see the feedback. I feel like this is a necessary thing that you're going through. It's not just, and it's not all conflict all through the month. I think it's kind of up and down and back and forth. I actually get the sense for a lot of you, particularly those for whom this is within a relationship that's more personal, that the other person is not necessarily coming from a malicious place or an evil, mean place or trying to really keep you down. It's more of a sense of such strong attachment and connection, and perhaps some insecurities of their own. I don't feel like it's coming necessarily from a really negative place. So hopefully the hope is that for the majority of you, this can be in that situation, it can be worked out. There can be compromise, negotiation. Perhaps you can get the other person, if it's them or if it's you, to voice their fears and doubts and insecurities, because that's when things can be brought to light and actually on a realistic and practical level be dealt with, so the relationship can actually, you can grow and evolve and learn together. The relationship can actually deepen and grow. So I see this as potentially a really positive learning, growth, evolutionary process. And I feel there's something in me that feels divine timing and orchestration, that it's necessary for you and the other person or other side as well. It's something that you're meant to go through for purposes of your own evolution and perhaps theirs as well. Friends are going to be important, perhaps even travel, taking a trip, etc. Lots of communication. Decision will have to be made. Be thoughtful about that decision and explore every positive avenue you can before making a decision to completely separate or split yourself off, unless that's what's called for in terms of being healthy. Interesting, powerful reading, Taurus. Lots of opportunity for growth this month. I know it sounds easier said than done, but that's how it comes out sometimes, Taurus. You are well up to the challenge. You guys are so rooted and lovely. You're going to make it just fine. Thank you for for watching this video, Taurus. That pretty much wraps up your August 2017 general reading thus far. Again, if any of you are interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me, click on that About or Description button on the channel's homepage. Please feel free to email me directly at Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I would be most happy to work with you. I will see you all again soon, as always, and as always, until then, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy, happy life. Strength to you, Taurus. You're going to have a great month. Take care, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.